You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios.
On Attack Israel. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The U.S. is so worried it could. The head of American Central Command, General Michael Kurilla, has gone to Israel, discussing preparations after Iran's supreme leader warned of a retaliation.
Saying that the Israeli strike on the Iranian consulate in Syria this month was like an attack on Iranian soil. He called the Israeli government an evil regime, saying the country must and will be punished. Reports overnight indicate the Iranian retaliation could be imminent.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. President Biden will meet again today with Japan's prime minister, joined by the Philippines president, discussing the threats China is posing. Now, the Japanese prime minister is also about to meet with House and Senate leaders of both parties. Next hour, Fumio Kishida will address a joint meeting of Congress. Tomorrow, House Speaker Mike Johnson will go see former President Trump at his Mar-a-Lago, Florida resort.
We have a lot of things to discuss, talk to him frequently. So looking forward to seeing him in person. It's been a few weeks.
Now, the two are at odds over FISA. Speaker Johnson says he'll try again to renew a foreign surveillance provision that'll soon expire. He says it's too important for national security. The former president wants to kill the program, claiming FISA was used to spy on his 2016 campaign. There are more than 100,000 power outages from Georgia to Louisiana, where a tornado did a lot of damage around Slidell. Fox Weather's Robert Ray is standing in front of a house in tatters there.
No significant injuries. Phenomenal. There were 6 people inside the structure behind me. All of them are okay. Minor scrapes. Unfortunately, 1 fatality in the state of Mississippi.
We got another update on inflation this morning, and Fox's Ginny Casola reports it's tamer at the wholesale level.
The producer price index rose just 0.2% from February to March. The reading is the same for core monthly PPI, excluding food and energy, an improvement from the previous month.
However, the annual rate of increase rose 2.1% the day after we learned consumer price inflation also increased year over year. America's listening to Fox News.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
All right, who's there for heroes or their families left behind when a service member or a first responder dies or is catastrophically injured in the line of duty? Who helps our country's homeless vets? I'll tell you who. It's the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Never forget the sacrifices of our country's greatest heroes. They're hoping all of us will donate $11 a month. Just go to their website, the letter T, the number 2, the letter T.org, the letter T, number 2, letter T.org for the Tunnel.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
And here comes your 9 a.m. code. That code is 154. Your 9 a.m. code is 154.
My suit can still make an impression.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill, it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hello, welcome Moon Griffon Show. It is Friday Eve on the Moon Griffon Show, and it's Friday Eve for you, too. We all live in the same world, I think. Anyway, great to have you back with us, 844-766-6607. As always, Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. That's GRIFFON. All right, got a lot of legislative stuff. Matter of fact, my guest we're getting ready to go to, we'll get to him in a second, something a little bit different, but Julie Emerson at 9:32, Heather Cloud at 10:06. A lot of people are asking about weakening the public records law. Is that good or bad for government? She wrote the bill. We're going to talk to her directly. I got my comments are at 10:32, some more stuff breaking, more lies. I got him on. But I have Senator Alan Seabaugh, who's the big winner in that Senate district. Alan, how you doing? Hold up, Alan, are you there? Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you now, brother.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you this morning?
Yeah, I hope you don't mind. I always like to throw in the win you had because it was a gigantic win over a bunch of lies. So anytime I have y'all on there that had to go through hell like y'all did, I like to always mention it. You don't have to. I will brag a little bit about the win because that was such a big win. And I'm glad you the senator.
No, we can talk about it as much as you want.
I had a feeling you would say that, but no, that's not why I got you on. I just don't want people to forget what you and some of the other colleagues had to go through to win an election and the lies and the craziness that y'all had to go through. So I just like to keep people up to date on it. That's all. All right, Alan.
Fortunately, the folks in my area in Northwest Louisiana, they can see through that. So we had the right result. And again, you can bring it up anytime you want.
Yeah, I think you won by 8 points. The thing about it is how many more people would have voted for you if it hadn't been for all the lies. You might have won by 38 points. So, yeah, the people they saw through it, and I'm glad they did. Alan, so you got a chance to testify. Of course, we talk about the redistricting case. I just want to get your take on it, and I want to thank you and Thomas Presley, Senator Presley as well. I made some phone calls. I was not there, of course, but had a chance to talk to some people that were there, and they thought that you guys did an awesome job of presenting what this was about. This is about gerrymandering a racial district, period. It's not about anything else. So talk a little bit about your testimony and how do you feel about, what's going on?
Well, it helps if the facts are on your side. And anybody that is going to testify or anybody that did testify that this congressional district map in January of 2024 was drawn for any reason other than to bring about a specific result based on race to draw a second majority black district is simply lying. That is the only reason we were there. The governor said in his speech, we want to take the pen out of the hand of the federal judge who said, draw a second district or I will. You legally, literally cannot divide Louisiana into 6 sections and have 2 of them be majority African American without looking at the state, finding the pockets of black population, and playing connect the dots. And that's why you end up with this district goes from Shreveport through Natchitoches to Alexandria, goes to Lafayette to Baton Rouge. They literally went through and picked up the African-American neighborhoods and played connect the dots. And that is a blatant violation of the Constitution. And it is simply not legal. The judge ordered us, in the name of the Voting Rights Act, ordered us to violate the Constitution.
Yeah.
And I just think that was wrong. That's why I voted against it. That's why I went and testified against it, because the whole exercise turns my stomach.
Yeah, let me ask this question. I'll put it another way. And I don't want you to talk really, Governor, and what we did. What's done is done, and I'm agree 100% with you. But I always thought, why just not say, hey, Judge, we already drew it. This we sticking by this, and let her draw it. Don't even have your hands on this thing, because she would have drawn a district, probably the same exact district, because the people on the other side didn't care. They just wanted another minority district. Why not let it all be on her instead of it being on the hands of the governor and legislature? Now, I know they did what they were told, and they wanted to say, hey, Judge, we do what you said, but understand the district we're drawing probably won't hold up in court of law. I'm curious. That's all.
Well, no, I made that argument. The district that she was going to draw, I think, was similar to the map introduced by Ed Price. And it was better than this one. I mean, they actually testified that. They asked me that. Did you vote for Ed Price's map? I didn't get a chance to. They killed it in committee, and I'm not on the committee. But it was better than the one that ultimately passed. And that was my whole argument. We conceded to Judge Dick before the case went to trial. Mm-hmm. I wanted to try the case, let her do her worst, because, again, I think that could have been overturned.
Yep.
Because there's literally no way to do it other than doing it solely for racial purposes, which is illegal. And so I think regardless of what she would have drawn, we had a very good chance of having it overturned. And I would much rather have gone down swinging. Yeah. And look, that's what I told people. I'm not telling you I've never lost a fight. I am telling you I haven't lost a fight without going down swinging.
Yeah.
And I hated giving in before we even went to court.
Well, Alan, you were just like me. I was preaching that from the microphone, saying, "Don't just tell me this is our district. We're done." And if she wants to do this, and she draws a gerrymandered district, and I feel like the court's going to rule in our favor and throw this out, I do. Now I wasn't there. I'm just telling you, when I look at that district, I go, "You've got to be joking, really?"
Well, that's the thing. I stand by the 22 map. I think the map we drew in 2022 checked off every box and was completely legal under the Voting Rights Act and the Constitution. And the best argument that I have for that is in 2011, the 2011 map and the 2022 map are virtually identical. Mm-hmm. And in 2011, we were still under pre-clearance requirements under Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act. And the president at the time was Barack Obama, and the attorney general was Eric Holder.
Wow.
And they gave us pre-clearance. They looked at the 2011 map and said, that does not violate the Constitution or the Voting Rights Act, and they approved it. And in 2022, we essentially drew the same map that Eric Holder and Barack Obama approved in 2011. How in the world could it satisfy Barack Obama and Eric Holder in 2011 and be a violation in 2022? It's ridiculous.
Well, you didn't have...
So the state didn't change. Nothing changed.
Yeah, even though we had out-migration, the numbers, and we had people leave, the numbers really never changed in the area that you were in. Y'all just had to tweak them. And tweaking them was perfect. It did the job. And yet we got a judge, an Obama judge, to come along and say, nope, you're going to do it our way. It's all race. It's not anything else. And I think you touched upon it at the beginning, Alan, when you said anybody arguing anything different is lying. There's a lot of lying going on, Alan, a lot of it.
There is a lot of lying going on.
Yeah, it's, but just as far as you, and I don't know if you were there for the whole 3 days, you probably weren't because you had to be down in Baton Rouge, but just by going with you, did you stay around for Presley's interview?
No, I was a sequestered witness, and I actually never testified in court before. Mm-hmm. That was a little weird experience for me as a lawyer. Mm-hmm. But they wouldn't let me be in the courtroom before I testified, and I honestly wasn't sure if I was allowed to stay. So I didn't stick around for Thomas.
But you had to hear the same thing that he had the same type of argument.
We talked about it, and actually several people were in the courtroom for both. My wife heard both, and so we were. It was essentially the same basic argument.
But and you never know what judges are going to do. But don't you feel like they'll come back and say this was totally wrong, this is bogus? If they do that, then I guess this thing will be they'll try to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. But as I told somebody this morning when I was talking to them about this, I would rather be on the winning side going to the United States Supreme Court than the losing side. So if you've been ruled in your favor, and we've been rooted, this is gerrymandering, before it gets to the Supreme Court, there's a chance they may look at it and say, we're not touching.
That's 100% true. The question that I have, though, is what's the remedy going to be? Can they draw their own map? Can they say this one's bad and go back to the 22 map? And then what does that do with the case pending before Shelley Dick? If we have one group of federal judges saying the 24 map is bad, another one saying the 22 map is bad, where does that leave us? I mean, could they send it back to the legislature and tell us to try again, which I think would be a waste of time because this would have been the third time that we've gone in to do it. It would have been the fourth time. We actually have already gone in 3 times.
But Alan, you're an attorney. You deal with constitutional law. You deal with this stuff. If you start going back and forth, then the 2022 map stays because we got an election, and according to the testimony from the Secretary of State, she said we got to have everything ready to go by May 15th. So, I mean, at that point, you're not going to have anything changed if you got two different maps and nobody knows what we're doing.
Yes, and this court can rule the 24 map is bad, enjoin the election under the new map while we go through the rest of the process. And that is a likely result. It's kind of what I'm hoping for, is they say, no, we're going to have the 24 elections under the map drawn in 2022 while we go to the Supreme Court and see if they're going to step in.
By the way,
I honestly don't have an answer for how that would affect the other litigation. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that, but that's probably the least thing they ought to do. I think they ought to personally throw it out and say the 22 map is fine, but I'm not sure they can even rule on that. And who gets to decide that? I thought the way the Constitution's set up, and I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I thought the Constitution was set up for the states to be able to draw the map. Y'all drew the map. You didn't hurt anybody. It wasn't racially gerrymandering. It was a map that tweaked the last one, which normally maps are just going to tweak them. They're not going to be gigantic changes like this one. I don't understand why y'all did y'all job, and yet an Obama judge says, nope, you're doing it my way. I'm playing God.
Well, I mean, why is pretty easy. It was all political, and it was, the same judge has ruled the legislative districts were bad. It's the same argument, the same judge, and the same political motivation. So, there's a thing they call sue till blue, and that's what Democrats do. They just file suit against everything until they ultimately win. The trial that just took place in Shreveport this week is a situation of Republicans actually fighting back and saying, we're not going to just roll over. We may not win, but we're not going to roll over, and we're going to fight you on the same battlefield.
Hey, listen, Alan.
I'm thankful that they did.
I got to take a break. You have 6-7 more minutes?
Of course.
Okay, no, I want to do that with a little bit on the legislature and just some things that you think are moving really well, some positives with the session that you see already coming down the pike, if you don't mind. And his name is Senator Alan Seabaugh, big winner in his district. He beat a coach pretty bad. We'll take a break. Be right back.
It's springtime, and that means garden time here in Louisiana, and Louisiana-owned and operated Stein is where you need to go to get all the great deals on plants and everything else you need for that brand new flower bed you've been wanting to make. Stein has great deals on garden soil, mulch, weed and ant killer, everything you need to lay the groundwork for that brand new flower bed, plus assorted flowers and vegetables in jumbo 6-pack starting at just $2.79. The weather is perfect, and that means you have the opportunity to start bringing those great blossoms into your yard today. Plus, springtime means outdoor cooking, grills, charcoal and propane burners. All of that you need you can find online at steinhome.com. Louisiana-owned and operated, Stein is your place for the gardening and outdoor grilling you need to take advantage of this spring. Check out everything they have to offer online at steinhome.com. That's steinhome.com. Check them out today.
When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases? Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com.
Shasta.
Hey, hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Don't forget it, coming out of 9:30 break, Julie Emerson, head of Ways and Means, but she also authored the bill for the Education Savings Account. We'll visit with her what's going on. Alan Seaball, Senator Alan Seaball. I love saying Senator Alan Seaball, the guy that nobody gave a chance to win, who kicked butt and took names, and thankful for the people in Northwest Louisiana, is my special guest. He also testified at the redistricting trial. But, Alan, real quick, just to jump, a few minutes left, tell me some things in the Senate and the House that you're seeing that they're moving along. I know there's passing some things that Bell Edwards just stopped every which way, and I like what you said at the beginning of the session. We're gonna get rid of everything he did. It was a great opportunity, and I loved it. And the media liked to choke them. They thought they were choking on their own spit, but it was funny. But I thought it was really good. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things you say. Here's what was happening. Here's what's coming.
Well, we got some big stuff like the Julie's ESA bill, and I'll let her cover that. But I think that's one of the bigger things that's moving through. The Constitutional Convention bill is still in the House. It hadn't really started moving yet. I think they're trying to work the details out. I filed last week a bill on legacy lawsuits, which is with hope. We're trying. What we did is we put the oil and gas industry and the landowners together and put together a really good bill that will hopefully get that under control so we can get, the Louisiana-based oil and gas companies drilling again. Yep. Our rig count is as low as it's been in almost 100 years. So we're trying to open that back up, and it's fear of litigation is why it stops. So I'm hoping that we can move that one. I got a really good bill that I filed also last week, trying to stop the DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion indoctrination on college campuses. It's some of the stories that I've been hearing from college students all over the state is just absolutely egregious. And so that's something that needs to stop in this day and age. I think it was Chief Justice Roberts, the U.S. Supreme Court, said the best way to stop discrimination based on race is to stop discriminating based on race. Mm-hmm. And that's all that DEI stuff does.
By the way, real quick, I saw Texas passed it, and they started firing people at some of these universities that were embedded in this craziness. Yeah. I mean, there's no place for that in America today. Some of the stories, they had a kid an LSU student who was gay and a Republican, simply wrote "gays for Trump" on a piece of paper and got kicked out of school because somebody was offended by it. And look, the First Amendment. They were probably offended by Trump. They probably were offended by Trump.
I agree. I agree. But the problem is the First Amendment doesn't say you have freedom of speech unless you offend somebody. Mm-hmm. It says you have freedom of speech. Yeah. And political speech is absolutely protected completely by the First Amendment. And if it offends some student group, I'm sorry, but deal with it. But it's, we're so far beyond I disagree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. Yeah. From our founding fathers when they put freedom of speech in the Constitution. We have moved so far beyond that. There are certain things you're not allowed to say. There's certain things you have to say and things you're not allowed to think. And there's no place for that in America. And I'm going to do everything I can to keep fighting that on every possible front. There's a lot of other things that are small. Like I had a bill that was going to be on the floor Wednesday, but we canceled because of weather. Repealing the mugshot bill. I mean, the bill that was passed a couple of years ago saying police can't release the mugshots of people they arrest for crimes. The sheriffs are solidly behind that repeal, and we're moving forward. But it's going to be slow. We're going to change the culture of the way we do government in Louisiana, but it's not going to happen overnight. And I'm confident and comfortable that with Jeff in the governor's mansion and Liz Murrill as AG, we have in the good legislature that we have, we're moving. I know you hate saying it's a step in the right direction, but we've got to have multiple steps in the right direction. We're not going to change it overnight. That's different than step in the right direction. Multiple steps are good. We got a lot of steps in the right direction, but I'd rather step in the right direction than the wrong direction. Yeah. But it's going to take a lot, but we are slowly but surely changing the culture of how we do government in Louisiana. We need a government that works for people, not against them. We need a government that says yes instead of no. We need a government that helps economic development instead of blocking it.
Yeah.
And we haven't had that in a very, very long time.
Alan, I got to go.
Jeff is committed to it.
I got to go because of time. Thank you as always. We'll be right back.
Appreciate
Julie Emerson. Hey, folks, this is Moon Griffon. I built my dream home. Start imagining your dream home. And when you do, make sure you call my friends or get in touch with my friends at Schumacher Homes. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. When you tour a Schumacher model home, you're in control. Stop by during operating hours and tour at your own pace. There's a reason my friends at Schumacher have been building homes for over 30 years. They're committed to making the home building process as enjoyable, simple, and hassle-free as possible. Call them or visit them, SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com to schedule your free, no-obligation design and pricing meeting. Hey, it's an hour or two of your time working on your dream home. And my friends over at Schumacher Homes just announced some exciting news. You can get a mortgage rate as low as 2.875% when you finance with Schumacher Homes. That is 2.875% when you finance with Schumacher Mortgage. Hey, the whole Schumacher team is dedicated to making sure your dream home becomes a reality. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. Folks, remember the name All Field Equipment, allfieldequipment.com. When I say All Field, that's ALL Field.com. All Field Equipment, founded in 2016 by my good friend, Mr. Bill Allen, with over 50 years' experience in the oil and gas industry. Hey, this is a great company to do business with, whether it's production equipment, control valves, controller, glyco pumps, chemical pumps, chokes, Wilden pumps, Barton recorders. Allfield has new rebuilt and parts. Allfield handles some of the industry's top brands such as Norseal, Fisher, and Kimray. On the supply side, Allfield has anything from Q-tips to appliances to general Allfield supplies. Allfield is one of the largest suppliers of bottled water in the Gulf. And remember, Allfield never changes transportation. Like the name says, Allfield has it all, covering the Architects area and the Gulf of Mexico. Allfield Equipment, 337-837-1003, 337-837-1003. Anyway, folks, this is Moon Griffon.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% List Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. It is an honor to be here with you. Don't take it for granted. 844-766-6607. It's Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline if you'd like to be part of the program. We are jumping gears to state representative, my state representative, who, by the way, I got another piece of junk mail in the mail the other day with her picture on it. Junk mail, Julie Emerson, Representative
Who's
Julie.
that from?
Yeah, you know what? It wasn't from you. But your picture was on it. And I thought, oh, my God, it ain't even election
I knew
year.
you hadn't seen my face in your mailbox lately, so I thought maybe you needed that. You needed something to talk about on the radio. You know?
My fear was you was running for another office already, and I had to go through this same stuff again, and that bothered me really a lot.
Oh, Lord.
Remember when I saw your picture, I didn't think, let me read what's on it. I thought, I'll be dang, I'm still getting junk mail from Julia.
Uh-huh.
You got one of the sweetest.
Well, I know you don't have enough to talk about on the radio, so yeah. I figured we'd give you something more to talk about.
Yeah, I gave you one of the nicest nicknames that I give it is Junk Mail Julie. So, anyway, Representative Julie Emerson George. All right, Julie, first of all, let me make a comment so you be proud of me. I think our Speaker of the House, no, seriously, I think our Speaker of the House has done a hell of a job. I love what I'm hearing. I get inside info from people that you might or might not know. I just think he's done a heck of a job, and I think he's doing the one thing I was worried about. He's being tough, he's challenging, he's hanging in there with them, and I just think he's done a really good job. So you tell the Speaker, and I'm saying that sincerely, he really has. I've been really impressed.
I will let him know. I'm so proud of you, Moon.
Yeah, I can't. The funny thing about it, I couldn't remember his name.
Oh, gosh. Speaker de Villiers.
That's him, Philip de Villiers. I knew I had. No, really. I'm being as honest as I can. And look, you got to remember something. I know people in low places. But really, and that means I know people in the legislature. But no, really,
Well,
I think
this is my 9th year here, Moon. So I know a lot of people in low places too.
yeah, I know you do. But I just wanted to say, Philip has stood up. Philip has been there. And, you can. I'm very upset with a lot of them, but I really don't have anything. I didn't like a couple picks he had, but that's done. I'm being honest with you. You make sure you tell him. I'm saying that publicly, and I'm telling people, man, I've been really, really pleased with Philip DeVilla. I think he's really stood up and done things that I thought I would never see, and I'm appreciative, and I wanted to make sure you knew that because I knew you were close to him, and since I can't get him on there, at least I could tell you to tell him. How about that? Anyway.
All right, I'll relay the message.
Yeah. Okay. So, education savings accounts. I heard pros and cons, good and bad. I know y'all fighting the establishment that don't want to change anything, but you did a great job. You got 71 votes to get it out the House. So where's the bill now in the Senate? Has it made a committee yet? Talk a little bit about the next step.
Yeah, so it's on its way over to the Senate. So it's I believe it's on second reading in the Senate today. So it's going to be referred to the Senate Education Committee. Senator Rick Edmonds is the chairman. Really, really great guy. He also had a very similar bill on the Senate side that he and I sat together and did in Senate committee a couple of weeks ago, and it came out of that committee as well. They're a little bit different, but nothing major. It's a very similar bill. So look, I look for it to come out of Senate Ed with the support of Chairman Edmonds and the support of the majority of that committee.
Let me ask you a question, Julie. Let's talk about two things, because I know you've seen and I've been fighting for you as well. I know you know what the bill's for. So first of all, let's talk about what the bill does and what it really does, not what you've been reading. Then I want to talk about what it doesn't do, but the rumor is this, that, and it's going to shut schools down. So let's talk about what the bill is really designed to do.
Yeah, so, we have a current scholarship program or voucher system in Louisiana right now. And it's similar in the sense that, it does allow eligible students to take those funds and go to a school of their choice. But what this bill allows is it allows for a little bit more flexibility in a couple of different ways. So first of all, right now the current voucher system is limited to kids that are in C, D, or F schools. And a lot of people said, well, why would we want to change that? We don't want to take kids out of high performing schools. And my only retort to that, or my biggest retort to that, which I think is very valid, is look, we do have some really awesome public schools, and some of them are at A or B level, and they're very high performing. But it doesn't mean that every single kid in that school is succeeding. Mm-hmm. So there probably will not be a mass exodus of A and B schools by any means. But this will allow those students who may be struggling in that particular environment to seek a different school of their choice. And also what this does is it allows more flexibility in the funds, too. So right now in the current voucher system, the school just gets the funds directly for tuition. This is going to allow the parents to do a little bit more of a tailor-made situation where they can use funds on tuition, but they can also use it on things like after-school tutoring, any type of textbooks or requirements for the students who attend that school. So it provides more flexibility for parents, and it just really allows students who are struggling or their needs are not being met at the current time in any level of school. It allows them to utilize this too.
Yeah. So the bill is basically for parents who feel like they really need a big improvement for their kids. And I know I looked at the Arizona case; it's like 3% of the kids. Now I did talk to the governor who helped get this passed through Arizona when we were at the Pelican Institute. And he said, look, Moon, and he said, the governor said, he was a former governor, but he said, and he's the one pushing this, he told me that, it's only 3%. He said, Louisiana may come in a little higher than that. He said, but he don't think it's going to be that much higher. But it probably may come in a little 5, 6% or whatever. But that's for kids that are going to be on the move and that want to make the move. And parents that want to make those decisions. I'm like you. I just don't see what, they were grabbing numbers. It was going to cost $520 million a year. PAR came up with that, and all of a sudden the media ran with it. So what I want you to tell people is what it's not going to do did you feel it ain't going to do that you're hearing all these disasters about public schools? Because I know you had to argue with people what it's not going to do.
Well, and look, it's interesting because our own legislative fiscal office did not come up with $520 million, and those are the people in the Capitol who do estimate costs for any bills that we have, which most bills don't actually have a cost because it's just a policy change. But this particular bill had a fiscal note, and honestly, Moon, we are delaying implementation for a year. That was in the original bill, and so we're allowing for a year to set up and do this right. We're not trying to rush into it, so we are going to allow for a year. So it's going to start in the 2025-26 school year. And then in the first couple of years, we have a phase-in approach. And in those couple of years, if you look at the fiscal note in the first 2 years, it's really mostly offset by the current scholarship program that we have. So we're allocating a certain amount of money annually for that. And so that's going to be mostly a wash in that scenario. And look, when you get to the third year of it being more universal, the bill is inherently subject to appropriations because, we're constitutionally mandated to fund the MSP formula, which is the funding for our public schools. We're not constitutionally mandated to fund this. And so it's going to be something that the legislature comes in every year, just like with everything else, looks at the budget, see what we can afford, see how many kids have applied and are eligible for the program, and then fund it accordingly.
Okay.
It's not something that's a mandate. It's not something that, it doesn't have the ability to blow up like people think that it does, because it only blows up if the legislature appropriates that much money for it. So I do feel like we've put a lot of guardrails in place. Every single state this has happened in, and we're about the 14th state to try to implement this. There has not been a single public school closure, and that's not my desire. Because, again, I think that there's a tremendous amount of kids whose needs are being met in the public school system. And I think we have some amazing teachers and amazing administrators in public school systems. But there's just some kids that their needs are not being met and they're falling behind. And look, parents pay tax dollars to the state, and then we tell them we're going to educate kids with a very large amount of those tax dollars. So this is just trying to give them the flexibility to utilize their own tax dollars to educate their kids.
Yeah, you got a few more minutes, Julie, because I got to take a break. Julie?
Yeah. Well,
do you have a few more minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let me take a break. Come back. Representative Julie Emerson. She's the head of Ways and Means. And I want to go a little bit long on this education, some other topics as well. So we'll take a break. Be right back.
I got something I want to say.
From the humbling beginning, Dino Hardwoods is striving to provide superior service and quality products for their customers. Hey, I know Charles Altman. He does a great job. If you're looking for lumber, Dino Hardwood stocks a large selection of domestic and import hardwood lumber and cypress. You ought to see their stuff. Exotic lumber, they got that as well. Trust in Dino Hardwoods when it comes to your exotic lumber needs right now. Molding, plywood, paint, and L products, they are ready for you. They got 3 great locations. The corporate office is right here in Broussard, Louisiana. There's an office in Shreveport on 2801 Valley View Drive and one in Tyler, Texas, 12492 Highway 155 North. Hey, if you're looking for something different and something new and somebody who will service you, it's Dino Hardwoods. I'm telling you, don't forget Dino Hardwoods. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Great locations. They can service you. They can deliver. DinoHardwoods.com. Check out this great Louisiana company. Folks, you hear me brag about an advertisement. South Star Urgent Care is the name you need to know. Listen, you look up, you're in the middle of the night, you're looking, God, where do we go? South Star Urgent Care. They open on weekends. They open at night. They can get you taken care of. If you're sick, if you're feeling bad, maybe you coughing, dehydrated, fever, flu, fractures, South Star Urgent Care wants to service you, and they're going to treat you like you want to be treated. They're going to get you in, get you out. You're not going to sit in a dark waiting room for a bunch of times. South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. You know you can register before you go and set your appointment. Hey, it's really cool. These folks at South Star greet you with a genuine smile and make you feel very comfortable. Folks, you're looking for the perfect urgent care? It's South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. South Star Urgent Care. It's the urgent care you need. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com.
Head over to Shum.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Lynn Griffon Show. What a pleasure to be with you today. 844-766-6607. Don't forget, Senator Heather Cloud will join us coming out of 10 o'clock break. There's words that she's weakened public record laws, a bad government. Well, we're going to see what the bill actually does before I read the headlines of a paper and believe that they're telling us the truth. Julie, sorry, Julie. I just got a lot of faith in the media. Representative Julie Emerson, a special guest. Julie, so bottom line, education savings account looks like it's going to be a fact. And you said it's delayed a year, and then it starts. Does it start? So that was, when you mentioned the legislature, you got limited money in this thing, too, at first, don't you?
Yeah. So the delay was always in the bill. That wasn't anything that, that they did in the House or in the House committee. That was always part of the plan. To allow the Department of Education some time to start it and try to implement it and make sure that we do everything correctly. Because, look, I mean, certainly anytime you do something new, and Arizona was one of the first states to do this. And so, they got a little bit of bad publicity because they had some pitfalls along the way. And so we've tried to learn from that and put a lot of guardrails in this. It's interesting. And anytime that you do anything, it's a kind of a major change over here. Obviously, you get plenty of negativity, but, I really feel like, genuinely, I feel like this is something that is going to help improve outcomes for our kids. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't believe that. I spent 6 years on the education committee, in my time here in the legislature, and it's the most important committee we have. It genuinely is. We're talking about educating our kids in the future of our state. So I do really believe this is going to help. I don't think that it's going to harm public school systems or shut down public schools in the way that some people are saying. I genuinely don't. And that's not my desire by any means. I think, like I said earlier on the show, I think there's a lot of kids who are being well educated and their needs are being met in our public school system, but not every single one. And so this will give them the opportunity to go to a place where maybe they can succeed a little bit better.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, we got to change something. This is just one thing of many that y'all are trying to do. I know it feels good. You got the support of DESE board. You got the support of the superintendent of education. You got support of the governor. What has been the big?
Also, we've got, it's a bipartisan effort. I know a lot of people listened to Representative Jason Hughes in the floor speech that he gave right before my closing, and it was phenomenal. I mean, he genuinely really cares about the education of our kids. He's worked in the education arena even before he was in the legislature, and it was just phenomenal. So I'm proud that it's a bipartisan effort and that we have so much support.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Julie Emerson, Representative Julie Emerson. All right, Julie, just because I'm curious, and I know it's maybe not coming through your committees, dealing with tort reform, dealing with some changes so we can get our business community back. Where are we on some of these bills? I haven't seen a bunch passed on that yet. I know they've done some stuff with insurance companies and things of that nature, but are we going to get some real reform, and will it be reform that we will see a difference in our amount of money we paying out, or will it take 2 or 3 years to do that? Because it's, a lot of people, the insurance thing is really getting out of hand.
No, absolutely. Like it's the number one issue that we hear about, as we're talking to people in our districts and constituents back home. And like you said, I mean, and look, I do have to give credit to Commissioner Temple. He's really come in, in his first year and basically said, just please give me a chance to pass some of these reforms. And if they don't work, if I'm not doing my job well, then, hey, fire me in 4 years. But, I mean, he's really been bold stepping out there saying that he has a plan and he has a package that he's moved to the legislature to try to lower our insurance rates. Now, of course, unfortunately, it's a little bit out of our control because the market has to take care of it and insurance companies have to see that Louisiana's on the right track. And so it may take a year or two. to really see some effects of that. But unfortunately, that's a little bit out of our control. We can only control the policies that we implement. So, look, and I'll tell you, if you do ever get the speaker on your show, it's a really, really big goal of his. Obviously, being a business owner himself, he's dealt with the unbelievable high insurance costs in the state of Louisiana, and so it's been a really big policy initiative of his. And
that's one of the reasons I'm proud of him, Judy. One of the reasons I'm proud of him, I know he's going with every bill. He's trying to get every one of them passed. I just know the ridiculousness of the prices. One of the things that I think y'all are doing, and tell me if I'm wrong, this is how I'm reading this. Had some people call me, hey, giving the insurance companies everything they want. They're going to cut you in 3 years. And I said, look, and tell me if I'm wrong now. You got to make it with insurance companies. It becomes friendly to them in the fact that they can come do business here. If it becomes friendly for them to do business and you get 6, 8, 10 companies want to come back in here and they come in, now you got 12 or 15 companies competing, which means the prices will fall at that point. Am I missing something, or is that pretty much the angle right here?
No, I mean, look, that's exactly right, because unfortunately, if we make policies that are not attractive to insurance companies coming into our state, then we're only going to end up with 1 or 2 that'll write policies here, and they can just jack up the prices as much as they want. I mean, that's the problem. Or they're just going to totally leave, and we're going to have a major crisis. Obviously, we have to make the market friendly for them to come in here and then create some competition. And that's, I'm a free market capitalist, and I believe that's what works.
I know, but what you got to understand something. When people say, Moon, they start texting me and emailing me and saying, they're making it friendly for the insurance company. They're going to drive the rates up even higher. They're going to let people go. In 3 years, they can let you go. And I'm going, yep, because they got to find a way to draw people in, because it's kind of a two-edged sword. Don't change anything, and it keeps getting worse. Change something. Mm-hmm. If it don't get better, they're going to say, see, that didn't work. That's kind of where we're standing right now with insurance. And I'm going, how do you get companies in here? Well, I want people to realize you may have to do something to get companies in here, like everything else in Louisiana. You got to do something that changes and you just mentioned it, the trajectory of when they come, can they come and make money? They're not coming here to lose money. They can't. Nobody stays in business when you lose money.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, you're on the right track. And I really, like I said, unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit of time, a couple of years maybe to start seeing some of the effects, because that's just, unfortunately, the nature of it. We can only change the policies that are in front of us. But I think we've made some really bold moves and bold changes, and I'm hoping and praying that it's going to attract more people here to create more competition.
Yeah, anything else? Everything's been moving pretty smooth. I know it's a totally new leadership, and there's a gigantic difference, and I don't want you to really harp on that, but it's a big difference in leadership. Mm-hmm. I know on the House side, forget the Senate right now, but on the House side, been a gigantic leadership, although the Senate has passed bills and got them all the way through the process, or it's coming back to the House, that John Bel Edwards vetoed. So that to me, that's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, we actually just passed on the House side last night, just a simple bill to clean up our voter rolls that John Bell vetoed 3 years in a row. My friend Secretary Landry, it was a big part of her campaign, was trying to get that bill through the process. And so I'm really excited that we're going to get that this year and actually start to be able to clean up our voter rolls.
No. I mean, there's so many things that we're going to be able to change what Edwards hurt us. And that's what I'm glad about. But tell Philip, no, really, honestly, he's doing a hell of a job. And I know he's been tough. And it was the one thing I said, man, is he going to be tough enough? Well, he's proven me that he has been tough enough. Julie Emerson, Junk Mail Julie. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, man. Talk to you later.
I got to get that in one more time. All righty. God bless.
I know.
We'll be back. Send it to Heather Cloud. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line 1, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1. Hello, Acadiana. News Talk, 96.5, KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
This is a Fox News alert. O.J. Simpson has died. I'm Dave Anthony, the star football player turned famous actor turned infamous criminal defendant.
Once a celebrity athlete with endorsement deals and Hollywood cameos, his all-American image was replaced with that of a suspected murderer when implicated in the 1994 killings of his ex-wife Nicole Brown and her friend Ron Goldman in Los Angeles. Simpson was controversially acquitted following a defense raising issues of racial profiling by police. Simpson would later spend years in prison for an armed robbery and kidnapping in Las Vegas.
That's Fox's Evan Brown. O.J. Simpson's family announced his death on X a short time ago. He was 76 months after revealing that Simpson had cancer. Japan's prime minister is about to address Congress before meeting with President Biden again, and the Philippines leader, all discussing the threats China is posing to the region, as President Biden also worries about Iran and its threat to retaliate against Israel for an attack in Syria that killed an Iranian general.
Our commitment to Israel's security against these threats from Iran and its proxies is ironclad.
And right now, the head of U.S. Central Command, General Michael Kusarilla, is in Israel.
His visit is reportedly meant to coordinate it, what a joint defense to an Iranian attack might look like. There is an understanding on the ground that the Americans could help in case Israel's air defense systems are overwhelmed. Now, if such an attack from Iran does target Israel directly, there's an understanding that Israel would respond against Iranian territory, another step up on the regional escalation ladder.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. New restrictions are coming that Fox's Jared Halpern reports will put more gun buyers under scrutiny.
Firearms dealers who sell at gun shows and other non-brick-and-mortar venues will soon have to run background checks on buyers as part of a new rule being implemented by the Biden administration. It's designed to close the so-called gun show loophole.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern again. America's listening to Fox News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Hey, everybody, it's Joe, and I'm here at Service Chevrolet at 1212 Ambassador Caffrey, not too far from I-10, also just around the corner from our station. And I'm out here smack dab in the middle of their 3-day sale event. It's their biggest sales event of the year, and you need to stop on by. During this event, you can save thousands on a great selection of their award-winning lineup of Chevrolet cars, trucks, SUVs, plus special savings on their worry-free pre-owned vehicles. Over 400 vehicles in stock. You need to stop by and check out everything that they've got here at Service Chevrolet Cadillac. You know, you look around the lot, there's a lot of people out here. There's some smoke, something's being cooked, and there's a lot of great vehicles on sale. Remember, 1212 Ambassador Caffrey is the place to go. You want to check out things before you get here, you go to servicegm.com. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Chevy, together, let's drive. Come out and check us out, folks.
It's time to win cash. Get your KPEL News apps ready because here's your chance to win up to $30,000. Just enter the following code into your KPEL News app where it says win cash, and make sure you listen for more codes throughout the day because the more codes you enter, the better your chances. Here is your next code.
Your 10 a.m. code is 140. That 10 a.m. code is 140.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, hour number 2 after the devastating storm that came through. Man, what a beautiful day it's turned out to be. Felt like a cool fall morning. I promise you, I thought, wow, fall's already here, but I got food quickly. We ain't went through the heat yet. By the way, making a prediction. It will be hot this summer. Just telling y'all, before the meteorologists start talking about global warming, I'm making a prediction. If anybody want to bet, I'm taking all bets, no matter how high, it will be hot this summer. Anybody wants to bet it's not going to be hot this summer, please let me know. I don't know if I could do this legally on the radio, but I'll take all bets. All right, let's jump gears. Senator Heather Clouds Garden. Why did I come on this program again? How you doing, Heather?
Good morning, Moon. I said, am I coming on? Are you a fan or a foe?
I know. But everybody wants to know. But no, really, first of all, Senator Cloud, thanks for coming on. It's a different Senate this time, I believe, and I'm watching what y'all doing. It's definitely a different Senate in the way it's being operated. It's no doubt about that.
Well,
and I think it's a positive thing, too.
Well, I hope we're giving you a lot of good things to talk about this go-round.
Absolutely. Y'all boring me to death.
Your listeners might get bored with you. We might have to do something to spice it up.
Well, that's okay. Maybe it's my time. But hey, you're working on a bill, and I saw editorials on it. And I've had people call me at Senate Bill 482, and it's dealing with Louisiana's public records. So here's what I'm going to do without saying anything. I want you to explain to me what the bill is designed to. Well, why you brought it up? What was the purpose, and what is the bill designed to do?
Okay, I hope I do a good job for all of you in explaining this. First of all, the media, certain factions of the media have sensationalized this and made it something that it's not. Most people that know me know that I'm reasonable, lover of our government, our Constitution, and transparency in government. This bill really does nothing except put what has been declared by the court already in statute, and that is the protection of deliberative process. And when you think of deliberative process, when you're trying to make a decision and you're talking to stakeholders and you're talking to your legal counsel and your staff and maybe scheduling meetings with your secretary, trying to make decisions that just working through the process. That's deliberations. You're thinking, you're planning, you're deciding. Those things have already deliberative process, not the final work product. Mm-hmm. Those things have already been declared in 3 different court cases in Louisiana as protected, as a constitutional protection. One of the cases was actually involving the Department of Insurance. And the court said in another case that the deliberative process privilege protects documents reflecting opinions, recommendations, and deliberations by which a government makes decisions and policies are formulated. And they've also said that government officials need unfettered, the complete ability to explore all the the consequences, the pros and cons of what they're doing, and those deliberative process conversations and advising is protected. And so the court's already said that. Okay. The legislature, me as a legislator, I have that already. It's in law. So if I call
let me stop you a second, though, Heather, just to make sure, because I want to make sure we're up to date. So this is dealing just with the process. This is dealing with the process,
Yes.
negotiating behind the tables, talking about what you're doing. You're saying that would be protected to keep doing that. But when the final, quote, product is put out there, or passed, a resolution, a law, whatever, that can be scrutinized by the public at that point. Am I getting that right?
So
Is it that simple? Is it that simple?
Records. It is. It's that simple. It has to do with public record requests. Like if you send in public record requests to find out things going on with your government, you can find out the work product. You can still find out everything that is fiscally related, financially, but all these conversations that government officials are having with their staff and their attorneys and stakeholders, those wouldn't be subject to public record request. And they're actually not already. The courts have already said that.
So
we're just making it clear in statute. That's all.
What you think?
What the court said in law.
Okay, so what you think the media is doing, and I'm going to throw the media in there, is they're saying that because this bill, right, give you an example, bills to weaken public record laws are bad government. This was the devil's advocate. Transparent accountability are twin pillars. But you're saying what y'all doing is they can't really touch the conversation, basically the conversation that's going on when you're talking about this. But they can find out once the bill is written anything about the bill, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I would say to the media, do they want us to maybe force them to publish all of their documentation and all of their notes and all the people that they talk to while they're trying to prepare an article? No, they don't.
Senator Heather, no. You might have stumbled up on something. Maybe y'all should let them open, and then we can go see how the media gets their information. Like the $2 billion budget deficit, that never happened. I mean, I'm thinking, well, you might want to reverse this, Heather. No, seriously. And I'm being facetious, but wouldn't that be great how you found out that information, Mr. Devil's Advocate? And I think, wow, let's find out everybody you talked to and who you didn't talk to. That's a great point, by the way. Great point.
Thank you. Well, I mean, it's, that's what it equates to. And 30 states all around the country recognize that government should be able to protect deliberative process. Like, we shouldn't force people to prematurely disclose information that's not a final work product. Those states, 4 of them, we know very well: Arkansas, Texas, Missouri, and North Dakota. So, I mean, we're doing something, first of all, that's already been deemed constitutionally protected by the court.
Okay,
it's already declared.
If it's already declared, this is my question. I guess this is a devil's advocate question. Why are you doing this if the court's already said this is already on the books? Because I'm curious.
Because governments keep getting all of these requests that they don't have to provide the information to, and they're having to send them court cases and explanations inciting certain laws, certain jurisprudence, and it would make it much more clean and much more easy just to put in language in statute, in Louisiana law, that makes it clear. That way there's nothing dubious, there's nothing confusing. This is just the way it is.
Are you concerned that people in government, local government, whatever, will hide behind this, and then we fighting over something that they ought to have to turn over? Are you concerned that would be used in the wrong way? I'm asking. I don't know. I'm just saying, are you concerned about it at all?
No, I'm not. I'm not concerned about it at all. I mean, because it's already protected. They can already hide behind it if they want to try.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, this doesn't affect my show because a lot of people would like to know how I get information. They'd like to know who I'm calling and talking to. I think for the wrong reason, though. No, I'm understanding what you're saying. I'm giving you the headlines of the newspaper. This is what, when people read the headlines, the devil's advocate and the media knows this. People read the headline, maybe the first paragraph. Bills to weaken public record laws are bad government. You don't think this weakens anything. You think it just clarifies.
Because it's already.
Okay.
I mean, it's already. That is the way it is already constitutionally, with the constitutional protection. So we're not doing anything. It just gives the media something to try to defame people like me, and, like you said, if the tables were turned and we started having them disclose all of their deliberation. Look, for example, let me give you a good example. The media director for the governor, if the media director drafts some kind of press release for the governor, sends it to the governor looks at it and says, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not what I want. That's not what I meant. You got this wrong. Redraft it and redraft it this way. What if this wasn't constitutionally protected already, and that particular work, that draft was sent out? Could you imagine what kind of public unrest and trouble that would cause?
Yeah.
Well, that is exactly what we're protecting, things from being prematurely sent out to the public.
Okay. No, I was just making sure, because that's not what the media is writing about. That's not what they're writing about. And that's not, and remember, when people pick up a headline, that's where it stopped. I mean, all of us are like this. It's not you and me, it's everybody. They pick up a headline and go, oh my God, and then all of a sudden they don't know the rest of the story. I wanted you to tell me the rest of the story. At some
point, we're going to have to start trusting certain people in government, though. Like when we if you read a headline about me like that, in fact, many people have, and they've just texted me or called me and asked me, why are you doing this, Heather? And when I explain to them, they're like, oh, that makes perfect sense. I'm behind you 100%. And I respect those people for just asking me, because, I'm not going to do anything that I can't stand behind, or that I think is going to cause any kind of harm.
But the reason you get the phone call is because in the Advocate, bills to weaken public record laws are bad government. There's a big, pretty picture of you right under it. A big, beautiful picture of you right under it. I'm going, yep. I wonder why they call it. And your name was on the bill. So, but the picture, you're going, hey, I'm going to call and ask her what's going on, because they made it sound like Heather, who, by the way, has worked in government. You've been a mayor, if I'm correct, and you've also a state senator. So you get the ends of local and state government, see the inner workings of both. So, but let me say it again. Let me ask this question. This does not protect government from somebody wanting to check any kind of public records at all. No, it doesn't. I mean, you're still going to have access to everything that the law allows. Everything fiscal, everything that you need to clear up any concerns. You're still going to have all of the access that you currently have. We're just putting it in statute. That's it. And I'm going to say this. It's a good thing that I don't bend to the winds of the media. I wouldn't last very long if I did. Yeah, I just want people. I figured there was another side, and I wanted to hear the other side. And the side is you drafted the bill, and I'm reading what the purpose is, and I'll remember this conversation too, in case somebody tries to say, well, according to the new law, I don't have to give that. I don't have to do that anymore.
Well, I hope I effectively cleared things up for you. And I'm going to look deeper into it.
I'm going to look deeper into it now.
Yeah, and Moon, if there's anything that you find concern with moving forward, let me know so that we can address it. And I really appreciate you getting me on the air and getting this out in the open, having a conversation about it rather than the media, the liberal media just taking control and trying to run with it.
All right. We got to run. Senator Heather Cloud. Thank you. God bless. Have a good day. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you,
God
Heather.
bless.
All right. We'll take a break. Be back. You're listening to the Moon Reform Show. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1. Oh, Shucks, you've been hearing me brag about Shucks. Been going there for many, many years. Shucks does a great job. If you like seafood, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. I'm telling you right now, there's shrimp, there's oysters, there's fish, all fresh, every day right off the boat. So if you want something fresh and you want fresh seafood, you got to go to Shucks. Don't forget, if you're having a party, call Shucks. Let them cater the event for you. Or you can go pick it up. Shucks, they're waiting on you. If you want a great time and you want great food, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. Shucks, they're good. Folks, I want to tell you about one of my new advertisers, Adapt Concepts AC Service Repairs. Serving all of Acadiana, surrounding areas, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. Full-service AC and heating company, repairs, installation, and preventive maintenance, which is very, very important. Installation service, professional quality services, focus on creating value for you. Terms of certified technician, 24/7 customer service, and free consultation. I'm talking Adapt Concepts, AC Service Repairs. You want the professionals, you want the best, this is them. Purchase a qualified high-efficient system for maintenance, plus get a free 12-year parts and labor warranty. Wow, don't you want to know about that? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com.
And now Martha Stewart.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. Let me jump gears. Glad to know the FISA bill was beat back by Republicans and Democrats. Okay. A lot of it was that Mike Johnson was going to pass this. Now, Mike's going to be with Trump, I think, today. He was looking forward to talk to Trump. Here's the thinking about FISA. He's not wrong, of course. They abused FISA with Trump. These reforms that actually kill abuse President Trump campaign to spy on. I'm going to go to Tucker Carlson. I think it's about a minute or so. And the FISA thing is dead right now. Everybody's been emailing and texting me today, mad at Mike Johnson. And I'm disappointed. I am disappointed. But here's a quick clip with Tucker Carlson and his view on it. And I'm not playing the whole clip, but he's talking about other stuff before. But he does mention Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. Here we go.
By the way, back in the mid-1970s. And that law allows the federal government to spy without a warrant on foreigners outside the borders of the country. And the idea is bad people are doing bad things against us. We need to know what they are, and we can't bother to go to a court to get a warrant every time we want to know. But it will never be used against American citizens. Well, of course, now that we know it has been at scale. But that law, FISA, has made it possible. So that law is now up for reauthorization in the House of Representatives. And amazingly, the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson of Louisiana, has spent the last couple of weeks doing all he can to get that law reauthorized. In other words, to allow the federal agencies to continue to spy upon and punish people who disagree with him. In other words, Mike Johnson's own party, Republicans, Trump voters. Mike Johnson has been working to do that. And that effort failed today because members of Congress heard from their constituents or came to their senses, saw the truth in a dream. Whatever happened, they stopped Mike Johnson from doing that for the moment. So that's a good thing, and you ought to be celebrating it, even if you didn't know it was happening. And a lot of people didn't because it got very little media coverage. But of course, this is a temporary victory, like all bad things, like that chlamydia you got in a hot tub in Cabo in college.
All right, folks, our very own congressman. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand Mike at all. Maybe he can explain it to Trump, and I think he's supposed to be with Trump, and he's not to explain it because Donald Trump was against it. Republicans that were against it, they named him Clay Higgins. But I look through the House members, I don't see Steve Scalise. I don't see Garrett Graves. I'm looking. I don't see Julie Letlow. The only one from Louisiana who was against, who opposed reauthorizing FISA was Clay Higgins, who seems to vote right most of the time. I just, like I said, I just can't defend Mike no more. And I think, I just don't, I'm not understanding what happens when you go to Washington. You know? I just don't understand. And Tucker said something. It was a 228 to 193 vote. 19 Republicans voted against it. This is what Trump, quote, kill FISA. It was illegally used against me and many others, and it was by our own federal government, by the Biden and Obama administration. They did it in Trump's first run when he won. They did it in Trump's second run when he won. They're using it now. They spied on my campaign, the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice, the FBI, utilized FISA to plan wiretap in Trump Tower during the 2016 election on the suspicion that the Trump campaign was colluding with Russia, and that was a lie. Everything almost they've said about Donald Trump was a lie. And Mike Johnson has always been in Trump's court. They like each other. They're friends. He's been in his court. Mike's trying to tell, oh, no, we were actually doing this where they couldn't do that anymore. Trust me. No Democrats are passing anything. I mean, they're not passing anything that can't slam Trump. It's just, I can't take up for him on this one. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. Unbelievable. Anyway, take a break. Be right back. You're listening to The Moon Griffon Show.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Spring is here, and if you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun's delicious seafood dinners like etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo and roux. All Ragin' Cajun products are made right here in Acadiana. Folks, trust me, they are good. Ask for the Ragin' Cajun and all your favorite grocery stores today. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Ask them for the Ragin' Cajun. Oh, man, I love me some Superior Grill. Superior Grill, the best Mexican food in the state of Louisiana, bar none, baby. They are the best, and you're going to love them, too. They got great drinks and food, and the atmosphere is second to none. They know what they're doing. They know how to serve. Hey, folks, you do know they cater. They do cater. Superior Grill, located in New Orleans, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge, Lafayette right around the corner. You're going to love Superior Grill. You're going to love the atmosphere. You're going to love the taste. They can handle anything you got. Folks, they got happy hours. They really serve the people. And you're going to love Superior Grill. I love it. You're going to love it. I cannot wait to go to Superior Grill. I've been going to Superior Grill now for 29 years. Let me tell you, I know all about Superior Grill. When I want good Mexican food, I'm going to Superior Grill. I want to see you there. We're going to have a blast.
Hey, folks, it's Joe still out here for the Service Chevrolet Cadillac 3-day sales event and absolutely loving it. It's a beautiful day, slight wind, not too hot, not too cold. It's the perfect time to come out and join us for this 3-day sales event. And you know, they have a great selection right now. 2024 Silverado Crew Cab 1500 LTs and RST Turbo Maxes. Why, you can get those $10,000 off or $11,000 off with trade assistance. You need to take advantage of that. You know, Silverado is one of the most trusted trucks in America, and it's not hard to see why. I'm here in the KPEL truck. The KPEL truck is a Chevrolet Silverado. We enjoy it. You come out here, come to service. They can get you hooked up immediately. Join us out here. I'm here 12 to noon today, right here on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Come check us out. Service Chevrolet Cadillac 1212 Ambassador, not far from our station and not far from I-10.
This hour brought to you by Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management. Online at MatthewJames.com.
Hello, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us as we rock and roll. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. I've invited for a segment back Stephen Paul, my climate czar, back. Stephen, good morning, sir. On a beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Very nice day. After all that rain for the last, it seems like, 6 months? I mean, my gosh, that was a wet week. But nice day today.
Oh, I'm telling you, no doubt about it. All right, Stephen, I got you to work on something for us today. Hidden behind the climate policies, data from non-existent temperature stations. Just the headlines. When I read the article, it got worse, but just the headlines I was reading, I was like going, what the heck are they doing now? So proving the point of the lies behind the climate change and the trillions of dollars being wasted. Then this came up, and it seems like every day if you go watch it, it's something worse than something before. Maybe you don't see it that way, but tell us what's going on this time.
This is another example of data manipulation in the climate change records. So there's a whole bunch of different records out there about, trying to estimate how much temperature has changed over the last 150 years. Ironically, one of the worst ones of those is called BEST. That's the acronym they use for it. It comes out BEST, and it's really one of the most heavily manipulated ones, but there are a whole bunch of them. But all of those temperature records in some way, shape, or form use data that comes from NOAA, from the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. And that data comes from temperature stations spread out across the country, and it goes back. In general, there's some kind of a record for 100 years, and that's why people like it, because it's some of the longest range temperature records anywhere on Earth. Which, by the way, again, this is about 100 years worth of data, and it's considered the best version because we don't have anything older than that, and you're telling me we've got weather that's never happened before? How do you know? We only have temperature records going back 100 years. That's another point. I don't want to get too sidetracked off of this. Now, part of the network of temperature stations that NOAA uses is what's called the Cooperative Observer Network. So these are just regular people like you and me, people who kind of like the weather and, they're kind of interested in it. And they've got a weather station somewhere on their property that measures temperature, measures rainfall, measures humidity, all this. And a lot of these are in fairly rural areas rather than in urban areas, because in the urban areas we can use the temperature stations that are, at the airport, which of course is
on the concrete, on the hot concrete, of course.
Right, we can use those temperature stations in the weather network. These are mostly rural temperature stations on people's private property. Okay, now, Moon, if I'd said, look, the government has a job for you. What we want you to do is twice a day we want you to go out to your temperature station and we want you to look at it. It has to be at the exact time, has to be at exactly 3 o'clock in the afternoon, at exactly 7 o'clock in the morning. You got to write down the temperature you see there, and then you got to come in and either mail it. They used to mail it by mail, but now you got to, send it over the phone lines, or you send it over email, or you send it over the internet. So you got to record your rainfall. You got to record all your temperatures. And Moon, we're not going to pay you anything for this.
Okay.
Okay, you just have to do this twice a day, every day. Don't stop. Are you going to do that every day?
No, they probably won't get me one day, but I get what you're saying. No, I'm not going to do that every day. That doesn't benefit me anyway.
And over time, some of the people who said, you know what, I will do this every day, some of those people have passed away. And so their temperature stations are still sitting out there, but nobody's measuring it. Nobody's keeping track of it. Nobody's looking at that data. And yet NOAA, even though these stations haven't been reporting any data to NOAA, NOAA is writing down temperature data from those stations.
Hold on now. There's nobody to man it.
Right?
Man, look, I ain't too bright. We got to slow down. We got a station, maybe got a station there. Who knows? We are not writing it down because the person's not sending it, mailing it, emailing it, whatever.
Right.
The person may not even live anywhere. You don't even know if the station's there anymore. But they're still getting readings from the station?
No, they're still writing down readings from the station. They're not getting
They're writing them down from a station that nobody is sending it to them anymore, but they're putting it down as facts.
And the way they're writing it down is they're using statistical data from stations somewhere near them.
Oh, my God.
And so they'll average, if say you get a station that's 150 miles north and one that's 75 southeast and then another one that's maybe 200 miles off towards the southwest, they'll just use math and say, oh, okay, that's what must be the temperature at this station.
But you can't do that because you live in Shreveport and I live in Lafayette. Sometimes y'all have way different weather than we do. Heat, cold, cool, rainy, everything's going to be different from up there. Storm may come through the Shreveport, Monroe area that never sees the Lafayette, Lake Charles area.
That's exactly right, and that's the whole problem. But they're still continuing to write down fake data and say that it's real data. And NOAA has admitted there's some two folks that were starting to look into this. One was a lieutenant colonel who is a forensic meteorologist. And then that means he basically testifies in court cases about the weather and weather conditions and stuff like that. And then there's Anthony Watts, who has been looking at temperature stations across the country. He is another meteorologist. He's been doing this for about 30 years now, looking at temperature stations and how they're situated. And he's pointed out all these errors that NOAA's made. Anthony Watts first pointed out the problem with these ghost stations about 15 years ago. And when he reported it, NOAA went, oh, gosh, you're right. We'll fix this.
But they never did.
NOAA never fixed it. They continued writing down the fictional temperatures for these temperature stations.
Did it ever say what was the percentage of people that wasn't reporting, but they were writing them down anyway?
It's more than a third.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, here we are trying to change the planet and the way we do business with fossil fuels. The whole thing is a lie. They won't admit it now because of the money, and they would be laughed off the planet. But the whole thing is a lie, and you're proving it again today.
It's about 40% of the stations around the entire country of the cooperative network stations that are no longer reporting. And look, and there's some places where it's really, really bad. So, for example, in Louisiana, let's say around Natchez, Louisiana, okay? Well, actually, let's go Natchez, Mississippi, okay?
Yeah, Natchez, Mississippi.
Go Natchez, Mississippi. Well, the nearest operating station that's actually working is Alexandria, Louisiana. There's about a half dozen stations around Natchez that aren't working, and yet data's being written in for them.
But that's the most I mean, we've seen the lies over lies over lies. This is an incredible lie, yet the media doesn't run with it because they're too busy, I think, putting money in their pockets, running with a lie. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable what we do.
Surprisingly not curious. In the state of Oklahoma, all right, I'm looking at the map right now, and there's a map online where you can see all the stations where they are. 1, 2, 3. There are 5 stations in the entire state of Oklahoma that are working. 5, all right? There are about 25 that aren't.
Boy, I tell you what, I'm laughing to keep from crying. What have we been duped or what in this country?
And these temperature data records go into the global warming data set. So that data set that I said was that they called itself BEST.
Yeah.
They use this data to tell us how much warmer the planet's gotten. And of course, 40% of this data is simply made up.
Okay, so they make up 40% of the data, and a big percentage of it comes from the airports where there's nothing but concrete where it gets overly hot. Am I wrong by telling you what I just said?
No, and now that is a different data set than the cooperative observers, but they get thrown into the same data set that's used by BEST, that's used by another one, GHSS.
Well, that's what I meant, Stephen. They use it. They're using all the data together, whether it's the same thing or not, to come up with the angle that they got that the planet's getting so hot.
That's exactly right. And they're saying, look, the planet is getting warmer, and we know the planet has gotten warmer by 1.2 degrees Celsius over the last 100 years, 1.3 degrees Celsius. Okay, the error in the data is larger than their measurement.
Well, of course it is. They want to get the information out that they can. Look, let me take a break because I want to tell people this one of the articles of many, the epictimes.com, hidden behind climate policy, data from non-existent temperature stations. So every time I see somebody talk about carbon capture, so every time I see a newspaper, right, we're in trouble, I laugh at them. They're ignorant, but they're fooling people. And that's what I get mad at. Stephen Parr, my climate czar, he is a meteorologist. Stephen, let me come back and wrap up with you a few more minutes, if that's okay.
Sounds great to me.
All right, Stephen, always a pleasure, man. Folks, you can prove a lie over and over again, but, boy, they're shoving it down our throat. Problem is people are taking it. Why? Money. Taking it with money. We'll take a break. Be right back. Spring is here. If you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun's delicious seafood dinners like etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo and roux. All Ragin' Cajun products are made right here in Acadiana. Folks, trust me, they are good. Ask for the Ragin' Cajun and all your favorite grocery stores today. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun season. Ask them for the Ragin' Cajun.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's SEA like the ocean, SAFE.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, still out here at Service Chevrolet Cadillac, right around the corner from the station and from I-10 at 1212 Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette. It is their 3-day sale event right here in the smack middle of it. You need to come check out everything they've got. Now, if you can't get away from the office right now, don't worry. ServiceGM.com is the place to go to see everything that they have available, from the Silverado 4-door Customs to the 2024 Malibu RSs. They have great deals for just about everything Chevrolet and Cadillac that you could want. You can see why Service is the #1 Chevy dealer in Acadiana for so many years in a row. They're unbeatable, and you can come see why. Come check them out, 1212 Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, right around the corner from I-10, or check out the inventory online at ServiceGM.com. Service Chevrolet Cadillac. Together, let's drive.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. Stephen Parr, my climate czar, who is a meteorologist. He works as a meteorologist for over 20 years. He's been on TV, works with Salem Media. Stephen, at all the stories we've done that have had you on telling the truth about how much of a lie this is, it's stories like this that don't get out. It's stories like you're talking about where you did a little investigation to find out what this really was. They don't get out a whole lot. I put them out. I'm sure you put them out on your program, you and Louis R. Avalone, but they don't get out enough so people buy into the lie. We have bought into the biggest lie. Now, I got to tell you, nobody would be buying into the lie if the federal government wasn't spending trillions of dollars on the lie. And the free information from the media that keeps pushing stuff that's not true.
You mentioned free media. Moon, as soon as I hang up here, I'm heading to go talk to a high school here up in Shreveport about media bias, about bias in the media. And one of the things that I'm talking about in the AP style book, so the AP style book is it's kind of a handbook for every radio, every TV, every newspaper in the country, saying this is how we write news. You can use these words, you can't use these words. Avoid sentence structure. Here's how you use a comma. Here's how you use periods and spaces. All this.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to quote to you from the AP style book. Avoid false balance. giving a platform to unfounded claims or unqualified sources in the guise of balancing a story by including all views. For example, coverage of a story describing effects of climate change need not seek other side comment that humans have no influence on the climate.
That's unbelievable.
That's in the AP Style Book. The AP Style Book is ordering every TV station, every newspaper, and every radio station in the country, don't even try to get the other side of the climate debate.
Unbelievable. That's when you lose a country. Yeah, that's why you lose a country too. You don't have
that's
the
how
media.
You lose a country.
Yeah, you don't have the media. If you go look back in any country that was lost, they never return if they were freed. They never go back to freedom. I've seen countries lose freedom and they never return to freedom. They stay in a communistic, Marxist type country the rest of their life. That's what people in America, and I get so upset about the left. They're trying to tell people, we bring this thing down, we're going to rebuild it the way it's supposed to. No, you're not. It's never going to be rebuilt. What we had was the only thing like it in the world. And they doing it through this climate deal. Now, Stephen, I just appreciate your honesty. As long as they let me on there, I'm going to talk about it, and they can get mad at me all they want to. But that right there told me everything I needed to know. Don't put the other side on you. Remember Barack Obama? It's all settled. It's all settled. I ain't even got to talk about it anymore. Well, you've explained that before. Is science ever settled, Stephen?
Science is never settled. If science becomes settled, then it becomes religion. It becomes faith. It becomes dogma. It's not actual science. Science is the constant questioning of the world around us. We observe. Those observations will naturally lead to questions. We will then test those questions, and that will give us new information, and we'll use that new information to come up with new questions. That's the scientific process. And, Moon, we can never know everything about anything.
Oh, no. These ones on the left think they know everything about everything. They know nothing about everything. And that's what they try to convince me. But when you got the media on your side, when we just had the eclipse, okay, you probably were very, very, being a meteorologist and doing what you do, you probably was very intrigued about it. Someone like me, not as much. They had people on TV calling the eclipse, and there was a earthquake recently. And they said, that was because of climate change. I mean, people on the national media telling people this was because of climate change. Going, oh, my God, how ridiculous has this gotten?
Exactly. Sonny Houston on The View said that the solar eclipse was because of climate change. No, the solar eclipse was because of here's the weird part. The solar eclipse was because of gravity. Because the reason why the Earth moves around the sun the way it does and the way the moon goes around the Earth in the way it does, those things are driven by gravity, but not Newton's understanding of gravity. Newton came up with the laws of gravity, the apple falling from the tree, all that stuff, right? Newton's understanding of gravity was incomplete. It was Einstein's understanding of gravity where he said actually things with large mass will actually warp space and time in such that a way that it will change the motion of things, that gravity actually is warping space and time, and that's why things move the way they do. But see, if the science of gravity was settled, then how did Einstein come up with a different understanding of gravity that explained things in a better way than Newton did? You see, science is never settled, and people currently are still trying to prove Einstein wrong. And I don't think Einstein is upset about that. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, Stephen, I appreciate it. It's getting ridiculous. And if it wouldn't have all this money floating around, nobody would be doing this. Nobody. Making some people filthy rich. Stephen Parr, my climate czar. Stephen, thank you. That was awesome, man.
Thank you, Moon. Appreciate you.
All right, God bless. Appreciate it. I wanted to, real quick, get a call in who wanted to talk about openness in government. Craig out of Minden. Craig, how you doing?
I'm well, Moon, and you?
I'm doing fine. You told me you had a little story about as far as the opening of government and trying to find stuff. What was your story?
Well, in 2020, I purchased property in Webster Parish on the north side of I-20 on the frontage road, and assumed it was a state road. Contacted the state, they denied ownership. Contacted the parish, they denied ownership. And I'm in the middle of spending a little over $1 million there building a new building, and the road was in horrible condition. So I couldn't really focus on who on the road in the middle of all this, but I had to. And I bounced back and forth between the state and the parish, and I finally did a public records request. And the state denied ownership of it in writing, and actually told me it was a private driveway that was built to access property at the end of the road and not the property that I was on.
Mm-hmm.
So I continued researching, and about a year later, I found the deed, and there was other information I needed to get the road repaired, and the DOTD just refused to give me anything. And going back to what the lady said earlier, that what she's trying to do in there is all that is already protected in there, and I'm not an attorney. I had to hire one. It is in there, and it is protected. Negotiations is protected if I, read the law right. And but I had to. This is what concerns me a lot, is that I've had to file a lawsuit to get these records. I still have outstanding records. I've spent somewhere around $35,000 in the last 14, 16 months.
So you're saying it's hard to get what you want to get?
Oh, yeah. And there's what's really appalling to me is I don't know how many trips I made to Baton Rouge to talk to senators and state representatives on the transportation committee, and they all tell me the same thing, is that we can't force them to do their job. There's no accountability there at all. And so I just found out yesterday that my case, I was supposed to go down next week for oral arguments, and now this case has been sent back to September 23rd, I think, or 26th. So, which means a whole lot more money I've got to spend here.
Craig, the bottom line is you don't think it's open enough to get what you need to get, and it's taking you a long time and a lot of money. That's basically the drift.
It is, and there's
and it shouldn't be like that.
Some amendments.
No, but it shouldn't be that hard.
I should be able to do it.
Yeah, what she was talking about was a little different. And when I say that, it's not to down what you're saying, but what she's talking about is a little different what you're talking about. But I get your drift. I've had other people say so much for public, open records, but I think she's talking about more of the dialogue of how stuff's getting done, and somebody sends something, you don't like it, you change it. The media doesn't have to know that, but what you're talking about is a little bit bigger. Look, I got to go, Craig. I appreciate the story. I wish you the best of luck with that, brother.
All right, thank you.
We got to take a break. We'll be back. More of the Moon Griffon Show right after this.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.
From the moments that shape our lives to those that shape our days, broadcasters are there, delivering the most trusted news that keeps you informed when it matters. We are your neighbors, a trusted voice, a lifeline. We are broadcasters. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
For those fortunate enough to help the person who has always been their hero, find the care guides you need to help at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
This is a Fox News alert. O.J. Simpson is dead. I'm Jack Callahan, Fox News. The Hall of Fame football player turned accused double murderer succumbing to prostate cancer, according to a statement from his family. Jim Gray of Fox Sports reacting.
He was a bigger-than-life figure when he came to the University of Southern California. He kind of lit up. He kind of lit up the playing field. And he kind of took Hollywood by storm. He was one of those guys that had this magnetism that attracted everybody to him.
But in June of 1994, Simpson's ex-wife and a friend were found brutally stabbed to death on her doorstep. Simpson turned himself in after a low-speed police chase. In October of 1995, he was found not guilty of their murders after what had been called the trial of the century. Simpson was later found civilly liable for the deaths and ordered to pay $33 million to the victims' families. He was later convicted of robbery and kidnapping in a case involving a collector and some of his football memorabilia. He was granted parole in 2017. O.J. Simpson was 76. Another report today on inflation.
The Producer Price Index, the cost of things before they reach consumers, rose 2.1% in the year ending in March. That is the strongest increase in 11 months, but not as much as economists were predicting.
Fox's Ginny Casola. Wall Street responding. The Dow down more than 100 points. NASDAQ is trading more than 50 points higher. Following yesterday's meeting with the president, Japan's Prime Minister Kishida is speaking to a joint session of Congress today, warning that China is the greatest strategic challenge to peace and stability, and that the U.S. must continue its support for Ukraine, or the Indo-Pacific region would face even harsher realities. Parts of Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia could see tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail today from a powerful storm system that has already been blamed for at least one death in Mississippi. America is listening to Fox News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is Medishare. Maybe you've heard switching to Medishare to pay for health care can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for Medishare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medishare works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 877-64-BIBLE. That's 877-64-BIBLE. 877-64-BIBLE.
Recapping this hour's Fox News alert, Football Hall of Famer, actor, and convicted robber O.J. Simpson has died from prostate cancer. He was 76. Tensions running very high in the Middle East.
As Israel braces for an expected large-scale attack from Iran or its proxies. Iran's supreme leader spoke this week to mark the end of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, saying that the Israeli strike on the Iranian consulate in Syria this month was like an attack on Iranian soil. He called the Israeli government an evil regime, saying the country must and will be punished. Reports overnight indicate the Iranian retaliation could be imminent. This does align with comments from American officials, including President Biden, who have tried to send a message to Iran that the United States stands behind Israel.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. The U.S. intelligence community concerned Congress may not renew authorization for a key surveillance tactic.
The deadline to extend Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, known as FISA, is next Friday, a week from tomorrow, April 19th. And intelligence officials say the clock is running out and they're concerned. Section 702 allows U.S. intelligence officials to collect intelligence from foreign persons overseas without a warrant. And yes, that foreign person could be speaking to someone or texting or emailing with someone in the U.S., and only specific communications between said foreigner and that American could be included in the sweep.
Fox's David Spunt. Former President Trump, posting on social media, called for an end to FISA's Section 702, which he believes was used to spy on his 2016 presidential campaign. Instagram deploying new tools to protect young people and combat sexual extortion, including a new feature that will automatically blur nudity in direct messages to make it harder for criminals to try and extort people for compromising images of themselves. The Masters Golf Tournament underway in Augusta following a 2.5-hour weather delay. I'm Jack Callahan. This is Fox News.
Hey, folks, it's Joe. I'm in here, hour 2 of our 2-hour live station up right here at Service Chevrolet Cadillac, 1212 Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, just around the corner from the station and from I-10. You know, if you haven't made it out here before, it's a huge lot. You can tell that they're having a great sale because everything is out and available for you to look at. Cars, Chevrolets, Cadillacs, far as the eye can see. Go check it out. 2024 Chevrolet Tahoe LS 56,635 available right now. If you come by, check out all of that and so much more. Their family, the Service Chevrolet family, has been serving your family for years, and now it's your turn. Come check out what they've got. If you can't leave the office right now, don't worry. Check out the inventory online, servicegm.com. Service Chevrolet, together, let's drive.